Hello, welcome to Stories from the Red Couch, episode 19. I'm Robin Cook and I've got Robbie Murray on the couch with me. Hi, Robbie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm fabulous too.
You were going to go for a swim this afternoon after this, but you're not going to.
No, then I decided yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah,
Well, it's
a lot better.
Okay, all right. Where do you do yoga?
In someone's house, just locally. She's just amazing. She does a compilation of different kinds of yoga. Mm-hmm. So I come out of there better than what I go in.
That's the plan, really,
yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
the plan. And then the next day I ache all over, but it's so worth it for the mind, body and the soul. Yeah,
That's
good.
fabulous. Are you planning any trips to India in the near future?
We are. We are actually, a few people are interested at the moment and we're talking to them. So the first thing I do is actually talk to people face to face.
So I actually haven't said, so Robbie takes dental tours to India.
I'm what you call the accidental tour guide.
Yeah.
Aren't I? Because I fell into it, really.
You did
didn't
fall
I?
into it.
Yeah.
So tell me about, how did that happen? Because you weren't doing that. You were mucking around with balloons and
All
events
sorts of
and all sorts of things, and suddenly you're a tour host.
I have to blame my husband, I think, because he had a really bad time with his teeth. And when I think he went and got a quote was around about 35,000 here in Australia. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's ridiculous, I'll just not have my teeth done. And I said, well, I'm not going to go around with someone that looks like a pirate with one tooth missing, you know. So I said, you need to do something about that. So he had a friend that had just returned from India. He had heard about Thailand, but not India. And India was more appealing to him than Thailand. And so he said, how about I go? And I said, yes, go. You can be the guinea pig and then we can see what happens. So it was hard for him to return to Australia because he had such a good time.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he actually didn't get just one tooth done. He came back with all his mouth prepped for the next year because I was going to go the following year. So he did stage 1 all through his mouth because it was cost effective.
Okay.
So he said, once I knew what the price was, I thought, well, let's get them all done, you know, because he's in his 60s. And people in their 50s and 60s have a lot of problems with their teeth, you know, because I suppose what we were all eating and drinking when we were younger.
And you'd go to the dentist and they would just drill everything out.
And so, therefore, there's a calling for people to go overseas for dentistry. So
Why overseas? I guess at the price.
Not only that, I think you get more for your money because you get to have a holiday on top of it, you know, and a different culture, you know, instead of going down the road to the dentist, which cost you an arm and a leg. And I think they're actually changing now in Australia as well, to be quite honest with you, because they're seeing the people that are departing to go overseas for dentistry and they're not liking it very much.
No, well, but if you actually can't afford to have your teeth done in Australia, then what choices do you have?
Well, actually have decay in their mouth, and then that is really detrimental to your health for the rest of your life, or travel.
So tell me a bit about the dentist that you go to.
Oh, okay. So the guy we go to is what they call a guy that does implantology, and they call it basal strategic implantology, and he's actually a teacher to the world. So my husband came across a really good one, which was great when he went there, and his name's Dr. Prashant, and we go to South India, down to Kerala, and I've been very fortunate because every time I go to India, I actually go a little bit further to see where other places are so I can talk about them, and if people have any questions, I've got the knowledge about them. I've been all over the top of India as well as south. I don't like lots and lots of crowds, and North India is just huge. It's just got lots and lots of pollution and lots of traffic and lots of people, and I could go to Sydney for that if I really wanted to, but I just can't cope with it. So down south is very much like the Sunshine Coast in the fact that it's tropical.
Okay.
It does have a lot of people, but I'm not excessive, you know what I mean? And it's more welcoming. And so what I tell people is, Australia is Australia and India is India. I really lay it on the line because do not expect to see Australia and India because it's not going to happen.
No.
It is a culture change.
And people would be nervous about going to have something done that is, because I need to get my teeth done.
Yeah.
And I have this anxiety around going somewhere where I know it's going to be painful.
Yes.
How am I going to manage that in a foreign country?
Well, I suppose that's over and above going down the road, isn't it, really? And having
Yes.
something, that you're familiar with. And yes, they do have anxieties. And yes, I do tell people, this is how it is over there. This is what will happen to you over there. Are you prepared to go? I just lay it on the line. There is a lot of pain because they have a lot of work to be done in such a short period of time. Usually if you're going over there for implants, which is common, or crowns, everything is done within the first 72 hours. And the reason why that is because then they can watch you and then they can see how you're managing pain thresholds, how your mouth is going and things like that. So they have to do it fast. And it's not like here, 2-stage. It's actually 1 stage with implantology.
Okay.
And with crowns, they do banks of crowns. So if you've got 3 or 4 crowns on one side, they'll do a bank.
Yeah.
Now you have a choice. And as I say to all the travellers, when you go in there, you have a choice of everything. It's your mouth, nobody else's mouth. And then I ask them if they want me to go in with them. And if they don't, some do, some don't, But it's a personal thing and I don't really want to go in with them. But if they feel as if they need someone to support them, I'm there for them.
And after, so how long do you stay there?
3 weeks.
Okay. Well,
3
that's
weeks.
a great amount of time.
Yeah.
Really, isn't it? And if you get everything done within the first
72 hours.
72 hours, so that's a few days. And then you've got days to recover. Where do you stay?
Well, I always give them a choice of where they'd like to stay. Would they like to stay in a hotel? My preference is homestay because I really like staying with the locals. And it's actually living as people do in their culture. And also I love their food as well. So I've got some really great places to go. It's usually $10 a day for food, which is actually 3 meals a day.
For $10.
For $10,
Fabulous.
yeah. And, when we go touring too, so when they've got downtime, if they choose to explore where we are in Kerala, I always offer them, would you like to go on a houseboat for the day, or would you like to go and learn how to cook, Indian food in someone's home? And this is what I've done. So, I actually offer up. The first point of call for women is shopping. So I know all the great shops to go to, and because South India is
that was just a palm frond that frightened Lucy. Yeah, they do that. They just drop.
They do. It's because we're in a tropical area. So where we are in South India, the shopping centres are huge, like you have here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, massive actually. And it's just you get so lost to them, like going to the plaza, really. But when you go over there, you think, where are all the white people? Because really there aren't a lot of white people that travel to where we travel. And it's like spot the white person, really. It's incredible. And so when I see somebody else, of our culture, I go up to them and say, hi, how are you going? And usually they're German or something and I can't understand what they're saying, but, it's quite interesting when it's flipped and you're the odd person out, and that's beautiful as well. Yeah.
What else do you spend your time doing?
Besides eating and shopping and touring?
Yes. And thank you for the shopping, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
So I needed a new shopping buddy and I've got one. So I have a new dress, you may notice, or not.
Yeah.
Robbie's my new shopping buddy. Thank you.
Hence, the people we actually bought the clothes from get their fabric from India. And they also went on tour to India as well. And while the husband was having dentistry, the lady went shopping for cloth. So there's a massive lot of textiles available too. So if someone is interested in buying the cloth in India and bringing it back as well, so you find something new every time you go. Because I love walking around India. A lot of people want to pick you up and put you in their BMO and things like that, but I really like feeling the earth underneath my feet and talking to the locals. I mean, of course, there's language difficulties, but really, you know, just they understand, and you understand, and quite often they want you to go into their homes, and it's just so incredible how non-palatial their homes are, and how they offer you everything, absolutely everything, and they don't know you from a bar of salt, really. So I just love that, because I love community, and that's what India is for me, is community. South India also, when we've got downtime, I always say to the tour group, would you like to go to the tea fields today? See, I don't need to go and do all that, because I've done all of that, and I go and get a driver for them, and I negotiate the price. And then I say, do you want to stay over in the tea fields for the night or whatever like that? So, and then I say to the driver, this is what is happening, you know, because they like you to take you to their uncles or their aunties on the way up to where they're going, you know what I mean? And so that you can maybe buy whatever the auntie or the uncle sells and things like that sort of thing. So
of course.
I've got some great drivers now. It takes time to get to know people in India, and it's just so great that we're actually helping each other, because they need to have money and income for their children's education. And each time we go, they bring all their children to meet you, and the children have got great English and are looking forward to furthering their studies overseas. And so therefore you start building relationships, you know, across the seas and things like that. So it's a win-win all around, really.
And that is what you do in the other part of your working life. Build relationship and build community.
I do. When I'm home, I work for another company, and it's an amazing company that works with families and people with disabilities. And of course, there's a lot of changes coming now for that.
With the NDIS, yes.
So we're actually plan managers and support coordinators. And because we have been funded with block funding for so long, now it's all changing for our future. So we've been dabbling in a lot of different things. So we've done a lot of research and a lot of study, our team, and we've ventured out to our first social enterprise. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's called Cycle Up.
Okay.
And it's amazing. It's recycling bicycles. And what this particular program will do, it will actually educate people in cycle maintenance. So although it is for disabilities, and we're starting it off in the disability sector, it's actually open to everybody.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I have a son who needs to do some bike maintenance.
Right.
And he doesn't know how to do it.
Right. Oh, wow.
So if there's one, there's going to be more, isn't there?
We're actually doing holiday programs as well as in school time as well.
Brilliant.
So that people with disabilities who have transitioned out of school and are looking for to taste what's available to them in the workspace. They might want to just come along and see what bike maintenance is all about. But I've got a plan for the future for it as well with the team, is that to be able to build and have another service coming out of Cycle Up, which is something that's actually live in Denmark at the moment. And once you've built the bikes, and they're called tandem bikes or tri-bikes, then we can actually infiltrate into, the retirement villages and be able to take people out on cycle tours.
Fabulous.
From the retirement villages.
How cool is that?
Like that? Well, we hope so. Yeah, we haven't got there yet. Actually, the coordinator said, "Oh, would you stop dreaming? Would you stop thinking?" And I just said, "Oh my goodness, this is just the first stage."
So is that something that I was going to ask? What wakes you up at 2:00 in the morning?
Yeah, 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, it was 4 o'clock this morning. And I thought, oh, the sun's coming up, I can start walking now. It's just actually thinking about the future, really, and how we need to all work together. And I love going to networking meetings and meeting people of all sorts of, well, wherever they come from in the business world or social world or community. And I love going up to people and saying, oh, this is what I do. What do you do? And they go, oh, how can we work together? You know, what is it we can do to benefit, everyone having a better quality of life? And see, disability is quite interesting because people are fearful of disability, and I really don't understand why, but I think it has a lot to do with the lack of education around disability.
I think that's also only been relatively recent that we have brought our two communities together in a way, because when I was a child, there was no visible disabled people in our communities.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was in institutions, actually,
right.
and if not in home. And it's funny, when I travel the world too, Robin, I actually look for disability, and I can't see it like I can in Australia. And I don't think it's because I work in it that I see it. I think it's because we're more open.
Okay.
And we're into, the UK I haven't been to look, and I think they're actually forerunners as well in disability. And it has a lot to do with changing policies and procedures with council and governments and things like that. But I think grassroots has really got it, because grassroots doesn't need all that conforming to start with, and so therefore it's hard to sleep at night, because it's a new day, it's a new age, and it's like, wow,
And you're just ready to go, aren't you?
Yeah, I know.
Every day.
Everyone says, when you retire, and I think, how could you fit that in? How could you fit that in to retire? I think I'm going to be one of those people that just drop, you know, and that's it.
Yes.
Because I just love life. I think it's also, Robin, because I have lost so many people in my life, and when I wake up in the morning, I think of them and I think, I've got a day. They don't have a day, and so let's make the most of the day. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you for that.
I mean, we didn't get a word in edgeways,
but that's okay, because it's about you, it's not about me.
Thank you
and
so much.
I know that we can talk for hours, and we do talk for hours.
We do.
Yes. So thanks for joining me. And I really love the idea of the dental travel, and I'm going to have to investigate it more and again.
Yes, it'll be great. I'll let you know the steps to take to start with.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you for joining us. I'm not quite sure who we have on next week, but I'll let you know, and that will be fine. Thank you for watching, and thanks again, Robbie.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful. Lucy was well behaved this time. She's just like a
living ornament.
Yeah, a grey blob on the corner.
Yeah, she must love the chat.
She does. I will talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.